Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. This one's gonna get a big yikes. Folks, the term awareness, it's just something that Democrats don't have. Whether it's self-awareness, as they're constantly caught in horrible hypocrisies, self-owned moments, out-of-touch moments where they receive massive backlash, or just awareness in general, being completely unaware of the facts, unaware of the situation or individuals that they're commenting on, and it's why they always get themselves in these exact situations over and over again. But we've got another oopsies moment where another Democrat grifter gets herself into some trouble in an unhinged attack against Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis and political commentator Dave Rubin. Let's just say Democrat Representative Anna V. Eskamani chose the wrong angle of attack in this specific tweet. Let me show you what's going on with these clueless Democrats, this ridiculous tweet, the backlash, the memes, and then of course we'll talk about it and maybe some other tangent topics. But before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright folks, take a look at this headline right over here. Quote, does someone want to tell her? Florida Democrat instantly regrets her embarrassing attempt to shame Ron DeSantis. This is not the own you think it is, Representative. Florida State Representative Anna Eskamani thought she had come up with a real zinger when she decided to blast Governor Ron DeSantis and Blaze TV's David Rubin for hosting an event in literally one of the most LGBTQ plus friendly parts of Orlando and during Pride Month too. But there was just one critical detail the liberal lawmaker missed. Here's the tweet. Wow, super disappointed to see the Plaza Live hosting an event with DeSantis this week. This is literally in one of the most LGBTQ plus friendly parts of Orlando, and during Pride Month too. Orlandoans deserve better than this culture war BS. And here's the graphic for the event. What do you notice? Oh well, seems like two white male conservatives to me. Therefore, that's the liberal thought process. White male cis conservatives, bigoted this, bigoted that, but she doesn't even know. She's of course implying that these are two bigoted Republicans hosting an event in an LGBTQ plus friendly part of Orlando without knowing of course that Dave Rubin is a gay man. She continues on, and it's not just DeSantis. The guy hosting him is awful too, pointing to a retweet from Dave Rubin, responding to a Governor Kathy Hochul tweet. New Yorkers, you can now choose X as a gender marker on your driver's license. Every person deserves to have an identity document that reflects who they are. Dave Rubin responds, if you out X as your gender, does that imply that you're a mutant and that you go to a special school with a bald guy in a wheelchair? For real though, what's wrong with you clown people? Oh no, Dave Rubin made an X-Men joke. What a terrible, awful bigot Dave Rubin is. But once again, it shows the bigotry of these left-wing politicians and left-wing actors. In their reductive thought process, they put people within bubbles, within boxes. If you're on this side of the political spectrum, if you have this kind of opinion, therefore you are this. If you're a Republican in the state of Florida and associated with Ron DeSantis, therefore you must be. If you make a joke about New York Governor Kathy Hochul's new push to allow people to put X as their gender on their driver's license, then you are a right-wing homophobe bigot. They just automatically make these assumptions about people, and that's why they always get themselves in trouble. I mean, you couldn't do the littlest amount of research on the people that you were criticizing. It shows that Democrats view the world and view their political opponents within the framework of stereotypes. And of course, Democrat Representative Anna V. Eskamani got absolutely roasted. Does someone want to tell her? This is not the own you think it is, Representative. Maybe do a little bit of research on who @Rubin Report is before proceeding. Wow, Anna, do some research first. You know Dave is gay, right? Anna, Rubin Report is a member of the LGBTQ plus community. Bad look for you to be gatekeeping. It's the typical trope of white liberal women pretending to speak for entire communities, taking the banner and taking the flag as the leader and the gatekeeper of these communities. It's just awful. And really it boils down to what I mentioned earlier, viewing the world through a lens of stereotype. Like I was saying, that if you're part of a specific community, therefore you have to think this way, because that's how the white liberal woman dictates, or says you should. And it's the same thing that we see black conservatives so frustrated about, that just because they were born with a certain pigmentation in their skin, that they must subscribe to Democrat and left-wing political ideology. And it's why we see left-wingers always getting in trouble with this stuff. This situation situation is very similar to something we covered back in 2019. A CNN analyst called out a Fox News contributor for his, quote, white privilege. Only thing is, he's black. We all remember this infamous moment.
I've chosen to cross different parts of the media world, done the work so that I'm qualified to be in each one. I never considered my color the issue. I considered my qualifications the issue.
Well, David, that's a whole nother long conversation about white privilege and things that you have the privilege of doing that people of color don't have the privilege of.
How do I have the privilege of white privilege?
David, by virtue of being a white male, you have white privilege. This whole long conversation, I don't have time to get into it.
Ariva, I hate to break it to you, but you should have been better prepped. I'm black.
Okay, then I stand.
See, you went to white privilege. This is the falsehood in this. You went immediately with an assumption. Your people, obviously, or you didn't look. You're talking to a black man who started out in rock radio in Boston, who crossed the paths into hip-hop, rebuilding one of the greatest black stations in America, and went on to work for Fox News, where I'm told apparently blacks aren't supposed to work, but yet you come with this assumption and you go to white privilege. That's actually insulting.
And that's exactly what it is. It's insulting. To look down on someone and to tell them that you must think a certain way because of your identity, that you must subscribe to my ideology because I know what's best for you, and how dare you participate in this event? I didn't give you permission to do that. I mean, that's almost what it feels like. The entitlement and the self-righteousness, the stereotypes and the bigotry of these leftoids is just insufferable. And that's what it is. It's bigotry. It's a worldview crafted off of stereotypes and bigotry. I mean, it's a grift. Mrs. Anna Eskamani is grifting off the LGBT community and uses it at any point as a political weapon to attack her political opponents. As if Florida, one of the freest places on earth, under the leadership of Governor Ron DeSantis, is a place that's harmful or discriminatory to any community. I mean, it's a joke. And the irony is especially funny when this Twitter individual writes, "Let's be honest here, Dave Rubin went from a reasonable voice on the left to a puppet for the right wing. He claims to be on the left, only for the extreme right to use him as their liberal friend, in the same way they do with their token black and Hispanic and gay supporters." I mean, how disgusting to imply that anybody who's gay, Hispanic, or black that happens to be a conservative is just a token. I mean, how disgusting. Representative Anna V. Eskamani responds, "Sounds like a grifter to me," as she literally tries to grift off the LGBT community in a baseless political attack. And Dave Rubin responds, "Despite your obvious homophobia and bigotry, you think that all gay people must think the same way, which is the very definition of prejudice. My offer to come to the show still stands." To which she responds, "Only if I can be on stage and debate both of you and DeSantis, and @B Joe Wolf can join us to live stream the whole thing." I mean, what an absolute narcissist. Dave Rubin responds, "How ridiculous. 1,000 people bought tickets to see me and the governor. I'm not giving you a second of that time. I invited you to see what freedom, liberty, and Florida are truly about. I'll gladly debate you at another venue in the future." I mean, talk about a grifter. "Only if I can be on the stage and debate you and take over your entire event." That's what this whole thing is. It's a grift, grifting off certain communities to dunk on your political opponents, and then when you get caught out and you look like a complete fool because you don't know what you're talking about, to make the whole thing about yourself and your campaign and your name recognition. Another left-wing narcissist grifting off the plight of other communities, of course none of which is surprising in the least. There's one Twitter response in relation to this whole debacle, of course responding to Representative Anna V. Eskamani, that I think a lot of Floridians and Orlandoans can relate to. Firedog PhD writes, "Remind me to never vote for you." Which, by the way, if you go to Firedog PhD's Twitter bio, he is also a gay man. So it really seems like you can't put people into bubbles, into boxes, based on your political prejudice. And it also seems like we have another Democrat self-own moment, which of course is just a beautiful sight to behold. That's what I got for you guys though. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe. I'm gonna get back to work. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.